We run this mother. Yeah.
I've been struggling, hustling, thugging it forever. Coming deeply in my yard. I've been struggling, hustling, thugging it forever. Coming deeply in my yard. I've been struggling, hustling, thugging it forever. Coming deeply in my yard. I've been struggling, hustling, thugging it forever. And ever. Got a ball, got a ball, ball, ball.
Welcome to A Woman's Heart. I'm Renee, creative visionary of To A Woman's Heart. Look, y'all be patient because this internet and this Wi-Fi is really working my nerves today. But I thank you all for joining in. It's automatically muting me for whatever it may be. But we still gonna go on in Jesus' name. We ain't not gonna let nothing stop us. So today is a beautiful day in the neighborhood. And when I say it's beautiful, it is beautiful. So we're doing this live stream because I'm back to highlighting women in business. And as I've said many times before, we as women get the short end of the stick, and it's hard for us to get the awareness and to be shown like.
You muted. You're muted. You're muted, CT.
My check 1 2.
Yep.
Hold on.
You're on.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
All right. So we are again. We're gonna keep working this. It is what it is, y'all. I don't know
Because
what
the
to say.
devil is a lie.
There you go. I don't know what to say. He try to push it, but he will not succeed today. But anyway, as I was saying, we work hard as women trying to get the awareness and everything when we're working hard for our businesses. So I'm highlighting my lovely niece who has.
You muted.
Can you hear me better this way?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm using a computer microphone now. All right. So that's what we're going to do. All right. So she's finally doing what she loved to do. That's her passion. And when it's something that you like to do, you don't have to work hard at it. It comes effortlessly. So I'm going to let her introduce herself and tell us how she got started and why it took her so long to do what she needed to do.
Well, hello, everyone. I am Coach Caroline. So back in 2018, I found myself empty nested and at a whopping 288 pounds. At that time, I had been going in and out of diets and exercise mode and, being a parent and not wanting to fail as a parent. So I kind of put me on the back burner. And we as women, we tend to do that a lot because everyone is in need of us, but sometimes they don't really understand that we need to unload and release. And for me, I found solace in the gym. Um, it's kind of like your own personal psych ward or anything that you need to ground yourself and pull you away from everyday life. Um, to mute your phone. If you can get someone to mute their phone for an hour to take care of themselves, that speaks volume. So back in 2018, once my son had graduated high school, I had started looking into weight loss surgery because I had already pretty much lost 88 pounds. So I was down to 200. And then somewhere in between there, I had gained 50 pounds back. So I had started seeing a weight loss surgery doctor, and he had prescribed me Fetramine and B12 shots. So that's kind of how things started. And then I would realize that it was not something that would keep me um, in my lower weight class. So I had to start to do some more investigative research, and I started to look up weight loss surgery programs and things like that, which absolutely petrified me at the time because you're literally going under a knife and you don't know if you're going to make it back to this side. So you're allowing someone to plant a tool inside of you based on which surgery you decide to get. So I decided to sleeve. And when you sleeve, they go in and they cut out about 80% of your stomach. Not that you cannot gain all of that weight back, because you can if you continue to use unhealthy habits. So when I say that I was petrified, I was scared that I was allowing someone to cut into my body, and I would have to explain to people that I had weight loss surgery and that I either gained all my weight back or I never used the tool for what it was, meant to be used for. So with that, after 2 months from the surgery date, the doctor released me to be able to start to exercise and do things moderately and lightly based on how I was feeling through recovery. So I started going to the gym. I hit the gym about 2 years by myself and, with my friends and a pastor that was at the gym with us. So we would go and meet up 3 days a week. I didn't have a personal trainer at the time. I was literally trying to figure that life out by myself. Um, so I continued to exercise the tool that I was given by Dr. Wool from Barrington Surgeons. Shout out to him. Um, and I entrusted that he was leading me in the right direction and giving me the right knowledge. So I started to hit the gym. And I pretty much, after that day, never looked back. I have been hitting the gym since February 2nd of 2019. My surgery was in December of 2018. Um, it got scary at times where the weight would hit a plateau, or I didn't feel like I was, you know, excelling the way that I should to be losing weight. But also what I realized was I had to set my pouch, which was me learning how to eat healthy and understanding my warning signs that would tell me when I was full and things like that. And one day, maybe about 6 months after I had started to hit the gym, maybe in like July of that year, I walked past the mirror one day and I actually started to see something that started to change. So I just decided that I wouldn't give up on myself and I would continue to go really hard. Because I was like, what do you have to lose if you just continue investing in yourself? If you continue showing up for yourself? You've been a mother since you were 14 years old. You've raised three wonderful children. They turned out really great. um, so I just decided that at that time it was time for me to start investing in myself. So I think right after that, COVID hit. So again, I was struck with a certain level of fear because I didn't have access to a gym. There was no gym built in my basement at the time. So I was literally, scuffling for things that I could find people were selling online so I could get some weights or kettlebells or any type of resistance bands and things like that so I could stay, active and healthy. Um, and I think within the next year following that is when I picked up a personal trainer myself. So when I say that I've been in this you know, industry for a long time. I mean, I was in it, putting in the work, exercising a tool that a doctor gave me. And then I began to exercise my mind to go along with my muscle mass because I had to continue to push myself. On days that it was really cold, I didn't want to go outside. There are days that I just wanted to eat because mentally I kept trying to tell myself that I was going to still be a big girl, that because I had never seen anyone do what I've done on weight loss surgery um, around my area or close to me. I know people that have had weight loss surgery, but the results were scary, if I'm being honest, based on people that I was looking at that I knew had done what I had done. Um, so after I got into it, I never gave up, and I just began to like lift harder, and then I hired a personal trainer. And when I hired my personal trainer, I began to realize what it is that I expected from a personal trainer, what I wanted from a personal trainer, why I needed a personal trainer. So you can go to the gym and hit as many machines as you want to, but a personal trainer pretty much gives you an insight on knowledge and education behind what you're doing, your structure and your foundation, the way that you're lifting weights, the way that you do your sets. Do you add? Do you take away? How do you modify? There are a lot of things that take place with becoming and being a personal trainer, including a lot of scientific things behind becoming a personal trainer, because you have to know your audience. You have to pay attention to the people that you're training. If they have went through things that, you know, limit them in certain areas for mobility, or they have restrictions. I have a client that I train now. She had a heart attack, and on the surgery date, her anniversary surgery date, we were at the gym lifting, and she was lifting tires, and I couldn't have been more proud of her. And just to learn other people's stories and realize how women have a hard time getting in the gym and trying to figure out where to start, and then trying to implement eating right, because as a Black woman and being in an urban society, they aren't always afforded whole foods and foods that are natural and organic. If you go into our inner cities, you find a lot of fast food restaurants, and things like that. So those things become more easily accessible versus people being able to buy fresh produce and fruits and vegetables and prepare their meals and understand how important protein is. A lot of us, what I've studied and found is that Black people kind of lead the charge in like high blood pressure and diabetes and things like that. And a lot of that stuff can be structured through your eating habits. So I try to not only implement being active and staying active, but also paying attention to what you eat. If you wait all day to eat, of course, when you're starving, you're going to eat anything that's convenient because you're hungry. Versus you telling yourself, I've waited this long to eat, I'm hungry, but I still need to eat healthy, because you tend to gorge in that. And then you're not eating or making healthy alternatives or healthy choices when you're trying to eat and things like that. And I'm not saying that you have to take away from the things you love, but you do need to monetize it so it's not so active, like sweets and things that are bad, or that will cause high blood pressure or heart failure and things like that, saturated fats. And I know it's a lot to take in when you don't have time to do the research. And I guess that's kind of where people like me come into play at, because I've been doing this for 7 years for myself. And I've gotten really good at it. I kind of know what works. I'm good at helping people structure their lifestyle, but not beating themselves up about falling short. So you can come back. It's okay to fall down, but staying down would be the problem. Getting back up and trying again, I will always encourage that.
Okay, so I got a question. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, so I got a question. because I have a young lady right now, and she got into the excessive weight because of the relationship, being in a domestic violence relationship. And
Mhm.
so, in that situation, I'm from my perspective and talking with her, a lot of times we do
Stress
things
eat.
to make ourselves feel unattractive. So the person who's doing what they're doing will stop doing it, right? But we don't realize that what we're doing to ourselves is digging us deeper in the hole. So when you're in that situation and your confidence is a little shot and your self-esteem is a little low, how do you flip that thing around?
For me, I would say find something encouraging. Um, Find a safe space first and foremost. Whatever that space might look like for this person, and then allow people to introduce you to people that could potentially help you based on what it is that you're looking for. Like if she's looking for an avenue to get out of the relationship, how does she do that? And then if she's looking to change after the relationship has dissolved and she wants to build up her confidence by working out and eating healthy and, getting on board with things like that, those things can be accomplished because we feel good about ourselves if we look good. If you look
Mm-hmm,
good, you feel good. There's no denying that.
mm-hmm,
I take pride, in myself. I always have, even as a plus size woman. That's why when I talk to people, I always tell them that in my mind and my heart, I will always be a plus size woman, no matter what it looks like now.
mm-hmm,
I put in the work. I
mm-hmm,
put in a lot of work. Um, And those are things people can't take away from me. Because regardless, in life, you're gonna face things. Some people are gonna praise you and some people are gonna talk about you. But
mm-hmm,
you have to stand confident in your own convictions. And you can't allow people to knock you down and then you just stay there because one person has something to say or you're in one bad situation. You have to surround yourself with people that are more powerful and positive so they can help uplift you and put you on a path or at least direct you in, the right path so you can gain what you need to gain to either get out of an abusive relationship or come out of being a plus size woman or being overweight because being overweight is unhealthy. It's not good
mm-hmm,
for your heart. My father died in his sleep of a heart attack from obesity. He went up for a breath and could not catch the breath that he needed, and his heart stopped
mm-hmm,
because he was obese, and people don't like to talk about it.
mm-hmm,
I know that there are a lot of women who are confident in being plus size. So don't get me wrong. I know a lot of plus size women that hit the gym that can move better than I can, and they're active, very
mm-hmm.
active. So you can still carry heavy weight and look good doing it.
Okay, so here's another question. So if you start the journey, um, what can you do to motivate you not to be discouraged?
So for me, I like to take pictures. So if you take pictures from where you started and you just continue to go and you start to feel different and see changes, those things can definitely keep you motivated to stay active in the gym, stay healthy, not indulge or overindulge in unhealthy habits such as eating, not exercising or, you know, just letting other people get inside your head because sometimes people will try to discourage you from doing what you do or what you
Mm-hmm,
want to do because they can't do it. But I'm not a person that's really big on listening to other people. I tend to go with what works best for me. So I would always encourage women to just think about what they want, where they want to go, what that may look like. When I take on clients, I normally ask them what's their short term goal and then where do they see themselves like a year out? Because you have to be realistic. I can only
mm-hmm,
do so much, but you have to have your own driven accountability. Like, I'm not there with you when you're eating certain foods. Um,
mm-hmm,
so a lot of things won't change if your mind and your body is not working hand in hand with the decisions that you tend to make on your own. You know, you can go places and you don't have to do what everyone else is doing. You can go places and eat, you can go out and have a good time, and you can still be mindful of where you're at and what your journey looks like and where you're going, regardless to what else is going on around you. That is for
Hmm.
them. You're there, you're in the same circle, just make wiser decisions.
Okay, so how do you break bad habits like at eating after 7 o'clock and you eat a full course meal and you lay down in the bed or you eat the wrong things? So what are some of the things that you can do to break those habits or get you in the mindset to break the habits?
Your operative word right there was mindset. Everything is mind over matter. You have to be strong enough. You exercise your mind. You get up in the morning, your mind tells you to brush your teeth, wash your face, put on your cup of coffee. You lay out your clothes for work. Your mind tells you, okay, I need to leave 30 minutes earlier because I saw on the news that the traffic was bad.
Hmm.
So that's a mental mindset. Mentally, you get up, you do things, and you think. And I don't care if you have to write yourself daily affirmations and stick them on the refrigerator, the mirror, or whatever it is that works for you. And surround yourself with people that are encouraging you to make better choices, even if they're not. If those people are in your circle, they should still be of some type of encouragement
Hmm.
versus trying to belittle you or telling you how certain things don't work. We all know things don't work to some magnitude, but once you exercise that mind with that muscle, that can be one powerful combination.
Right. So I'm putting this on since I can't do TikTok live another way. I'm going to do it this way so they can enjoy it as well. But anyway, I was getting ready to say now for me, you know, I'm up in that age of 60 plus and
Hmm.
soon to hit that lovely 6'5". Thank you,
Okay.
Jesus. But I'm not a person who likes to exercise. That's not my cup of tea. So what is it that I can do as a person who's getting older? I'm very active. I'm not a lazy person. I move a lot. But what is it that I can do that would be beneficial for me for longevity of life?
So, because I know exactly how active you can be, I know that that's not um everybody's story. So some
Hmm.
women in their 60s, they aren't that active, but um just healthier eating choices and then pretty much trying to figure out if you wake up and your bones and your joints are cracking and creaking, that doesn't mean that you're getting old. That just
Hmm.
means that you need a little tuning, little fine
Hmm.
tuning.
Hmm.
I have a 62-year-old client that I train, and a lot of times she'll tell me, well, Caroline, I can't lift this. So I began to talk to her and
Hmm.
encourage her. And
Hmm.
before you know it, she's so enthralled with my conversation that she forgets that what I've asked her to lift or anything, she's actually lifting it and she's
Hmm.
doing the exercises. And then sometimes I just stop and I look at them and I say, so who's in doubt of what it is that you can do in this room? Because I don't doubt it.
Hmm.
Nobody's doubting you but you.
Right.
So just sometimes it's a mental thing. If you get up
Hmm.
and you garden, you're active in the summertime. In the
Hmm.
summertime, I hit the gym, but I go outside and I literally get my rakes or my shovels and I just dig up the dirt. I weed everything. By that time, I'm 4 hours in. I've probably intake about 64 ounces of water and a cup
Hmm.
of coffee, and I've worked myself into a really good sweat. And all I've done was garden because that's something else I like to do to relax my mind. So find things that encourage you to be active. Um, even if you just get up and you walk around, walk your block, walk through your house, I find that cleaning my house top to bottom is a workout within itself. By the time I'm finished sweeping, mopping, dusting, cleaning mirrors, I'm sweating. So
Hmm.
I stay active in those things too. Life can be an overall jungle gym within itself.
Hmm.
But you really do need to get into things and figure out what works best for you. I had went to a class in Berkeley and it was a lot of older women, and they come in the evening. Um, and they were working out. Nothing strenuous, nothing, overbearing, just things
Mhm.
where they were just moving their bodies. So
Mhm.
if you even think about it, if you throw on some music and you do any of the shuffles or the line dances, those things can make you sweat too. So I
Mhm.
have a client that I train online because I do online courses. So sometimes when I call her, I'm like, well, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put on this Cupid shuffle, and that's our intro
Mhm.
because there's no weights there, there's no treadmill, there's no stairmaster. So how do I get her heart rate jumping?
Mhm.
Well, I know that she likes to go out. So I pay attention to my audience and I cater to my clients.
Mhm. Okay. So, what is I had this conversation the other day because somebody told me I don't eat breakfast. I
Mhm.
wait till
I
like
hear that a lot.
7 o'clock in the evening to eat. And I'm like, you're not doing your body justice when you
You're not.
starve all night long and then you wait all day and then you don't eat till 7 o'clock and you think your weight is supposed to stay down. You're not helping because your body is overworking, trying to make up for what it didn't get earlier when you could have started your day off right.
And then too, you're starving. At that time, your mind has told your body that you're pretty much starving it if this is something that you do reoccurring. Um, and the body will plateau itself because it's not sure when you're going to feed it again.
Mm-hmm.
I remember being pregnant and I wasn't gaining weight and I was ripping and running like a lot. And I think I was at Subway and I knew I had waited too long to eat and I almost fainted.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to go to the doctor, and the doctor told me, he was like, your baby's pretty much dependent on the lining of your stomach or what you have in it to because you're not eating enough. So when someone tells you you're not eating enough, that does not mean go and start buying Italian beefs, hot dogs and pizza puffs. That means wake up, put yourself in a mindset like if I don't do breakfast, maybe I can drink a smoothie or I can get
Mm-hmm.
some type of protein in. Because what you want to do is you want to fill the space that's feeling like you're neglecting it. Because if you don't, when you're ready to eat and it's so late, you're going to make unhealthy choices. The decisions are going to be bad. And then that food is going to sit on you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I tend not to have that problem because, like I said, I've been doing this for 7 years. So I've trained myself to know not to eat certain things after a certain time. And if I do, I know to get up and take some type of laxative to get my body moving things up out of there because you don't want that stuff to sit there. Um, so there are alternatives to making bad decisions, but that's not something you want to continue to do. You want to eat healthy, you want to eat right, you want to eat clean, but you also want to feed your body with things that are, more healthy and in most of their words, organic. I
Mm-hmm.
don't lean towards organics, but I am into the greens and the fruits and protein. I am a big protein person, and I drink a lot of water. Some days I'm intaking almost 120 ounces of water. So you should always double up your body um, weight in water because you can release that. So even if you're not eating, you should be staying hydrated. And if you're going to hydrate and it's the morning or even in the afternoon, try to get a protein smoothie or a protein shake, something that's like a meal replacement. So you're not missing a meal completely. Because people tend to think, well, if I starve myself, I'll lose weight. And that's not how that works. You have to do research. And everybody's body is different. Everybody's metabolism is different. We all digest differently. So you have to know what you're doing and why you're doing it, and then pay attention to what your body is telling you.
Okay, when you talk about protein, what is the importance of protein and what type of protein? Are we talking about meats or what we talking about?
So for me, when I had weight loss surgery, one of the biggest things is when they cut out 80% of your stomach, your body is pretty much losing a way to take in some of those minerals, vitamins, protein, things that we're normally, you know, consistently doing on a regular basis. But when you have certain kind of surgeries, where it's weight loss, you can't really do that. So they always pushed us to do the protein smoothies. But for me, because I work out and I lift, when you're in the gym and you lift heavy or you're very active like that, I tend to think that meats are a better protein source because it helps you when not feel so fatigued. Because if you go to the gym and you don't eat, you're gonna know it because you're lightheaded, you're seeing stars, and that's because you're not eating. Your body has nothing to burn off. So even in the mornings, if I hit the gym early, I'm going to eat a Nutri-Grain bar, a protein bar, something, a banana, if I have to take a whole thing of grapes, but I have to eat something because it'll give you fuel to move and be active. But if you're slumped most of the time, it's probably because you're not fueling your body. Protein is very important. That's why do you think animals in the wild, everything is a circle of life? You need the blood flow. That's why when people are asking about steaks, I don't eat steak in a large quantity. But if someone is with me and they're eating a steak, I'll take some of their steak because I need the protein. Shrimp, turkey, chicken, salmon, any fish, and things like that. And you don't have to stay away from pastas. I tend to cook pasta with wheat. So I like wheat noodles for my spaghetti. I use ground turkey. There are a lot of things. And when I'm telling you that a lot of times we grow up in a household that we tend to eat a lot of junk food, sweets, or things that are easily accessible or cheap because it's easier to feed kids that way, especially when you've been working all day. But if you try to cut out a window for yourself to try and meal prep, those can be healthy alternatives too. But protein is important. And if anybody does their research, it's just as important as taking minerals and vitamins. And you also have to be mindful of the fact that when you go to the doctor and they diagnose you, their primary objective is to put you on a medication because most of the time doctors are linked in with people that sell medications. So they're going to push you for those things. I was a high blood pressure medicine person. I had bad knees. Um, Things were really rough. And I was literally at my doctor's office a lot of times throughout the year. I probably can count the amount of times that I go see my doctor on one hand within a year now. And I'm no longer on high blood pressure medicine. I was diagnosed with lupus. And I told the doctor, I'm like, well, I would have never known that I had it not showed up in my blood screening. I understand the severity of it, but I would prefer for you not to treat something that I haven't had any problems with. Now, if something starts to ail me and I have to come back, then we can talk about alternatives that, you can prescribe and things like that. But I tend to like to just try to stay off the radar for medicines and because how do you really know what you're putting in your body?
Exactly.
You know, it's a lot of things that go into um, what it is that I've learned to pay attention to in this health journey. It's a lot to take in. That's why I like to make things as easy as I can for my clients.
Mhm.
I have one client that I told her I'd start meal prepping for her because she's working a lot. Um, and I know how committed she is to her fitness journey. She stopped smoking recently. Um, she stepped on the scale. She was down 10 pounds from the time I started training her. So that was a very, like, really proud moment. She was like literally almost in tears. I have another client who has problems with her Achilles tendons. She told me she couldn't jump rope. Now she's jumping rope. So trusting somebody that has the science behind what it is that comes with health and fitness is always a good choice.
Hmm. I think the best thing to trust and solidify what people will listen to is somebody who's been in their shoes, right? Because
Mhm.
somebody who's been in their shoes, somebody who's walked the walk will understand how they feel and how they feel discouraged, how they feel less motivated, and they're more apt to listen to somebody who's been on that journey struggle bus themselves. It makes it easier for them. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
And then you talked about medicine. Now everybody know me. I am one who do not take medicine. I don't take medicine at all. I just don't. And even when COVID came up, and my other niece is like, "Oh, I'm worried about you. You should just go ahead and get the COVID shots." Let me tell you, I took them doggone COVID shot. I was sick as I don't know what. And I mean, I was for 3 days, I was sick, sick. I'm a vitamin person. I'm a supplement
Hmm.
person. I'm an all natural person. I don't do a lot of sugar. I don't do no salt. I just don't. I'm very specific
Particular.
about what
Hmm.
I put in my body. And I don't do a lot of restaurant food. I just don't. I don't drink a lot of pop neither. So I got people at work when they ask me how old I am. And when I told them just the other day, how old are you? They thought I was 40. I told them, no, I'm 64, soon to be 65. And they was like, for real? And I'm like, yeah. And they was like, no, you lie. I said, my birthday, July the 22nd, 1960. Calculated. That's what I
Yep.
am. But I take care of me. And I'm not ashamed of my age. And so, to your point, we have to learn how to love ourselves again and make sure we are diligent in doing what works for us.
That, and I think that, it's okay to um try to figure out alternative ways to
Mhm,
improve your overall health. And your doctors are primarily the people that you should always speak to. Like for me, I'm certified. I'm a certified personal trainer. I'm a certified nutritionist, and I'm a certified health coach. But I don't mean nutritionist like I can hand out prescriptions or tell you how or what nutrition you should take in. I'm just a nutrition coach. So I can pretty much try to direct you in the right direction of things that you should be eating and things that you should pay attention to and things that you should cut back on and maybe, implement more into your diet and things like that. But when I'm talking to my clients, I automatically tell them when I meet them, I can only do so much for you from my end because I'm not with you every day. But every day, my clients are going to hear from me. And I'm going to shine a spotlight on them once I see that they're showing improvement because their dedication is important to them and it's important to me. And I always tell them, as long as you keep showing up for yourself, I'm going to keep showing up for you. And what I offer, I'm a no nonsense type of coach. So I don't really offer a lot of, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. We can modify things, but not trying is just as bad as not doing.
mhm,
Um, I train a lot of older women, that are getting up in age, that have had problems and things go wrong with them. And one of the things I first asked them was, how long was this injury? So basically, you're afraid to exercise the area in which the injury took place versus the fact that you're going to tell me you can't do it. But let's see. So we can keep it moderate. That's my job is to pay attention to my client, their motion, their movement, the muscle. If they look like they're struggling to do things, then to modify things, but not trying is just bad as not doing and pretty much leaving yourself idle. But a
mhm,
lot of people need to do a lot of research on their own and not be so dependent on like doctors and other people telling you exactly what will clear up things and change things. Because if we really look into medical parts of things, I tend to think, you know, when people open up body parts, when they say you have cancer and it's going to spread, I tend to think it takes off worse once they open it up. I also
mhm,
tend to think that it's really hard on people to live with it once you start radiation and chemo. They're pretty much cooking your body from the inside out. So I tend to think those type of things kind of speed up the process. So I kind of respect a lot of when people don't want to go through certain things and they tend to stick around a little while longer, although they're fighting through things. I'm
mhm,
fighting through lupus. No one knows that I'm sick because you can't see that I'm sick. So you don't look sick. No, I don't look sick. And not all sicknesses are something that you can visually see.
mhm. And even
So
with that, it's a mindset too.
it
Even
is.
with you being diagnosed, it's a mindset as well, right?
Mhm.
So I always say, this has been my philosophy forever and a day. Your mind Your mental, your emotional, your spiritual, and your physical go hand in hand. If
Mhm.
any one of those are out of sync, then everything else is out of sync. So whatever is being told to you, however you feel, you notice when you let somebody get up under your skin and make you mad, it manifests a headache or manifests an anxiety attack or a panic attack. But when you keep control of who you are in every aspect of your life back to your mental status, then you're more apt to be a better version of yourself.
Yeah, your mental can play a big role. It's pivotal in most everything you do on a daily basis. It's
Hmm.
whatever choices and decisions you make when you wake up and you hit the ground running. What are you going to do today? What are you going to accomplish today? Or what are you going to mess up today?
Hmm.
What could you have done to change that? What could I have done to do things differently because that's not really the outcome that I wanted. So mentally you have to be strong enough to handle life. Um I can feel when I'm pretty much my blood pressure is running up. These are things that I never paid attention to, you know, beforehand. But I can sense when I'm overwhelmed and I can tell when my blood pressure is getting high. Um, we're human. Things will get under our skin. I'm human too. When I let out, to the world that I had weight loss surgery and I unarchived my photos, those aren't things that I really ever thought I would be sharing with the world.
Hmm.
But, for every one somebody that has something negative to say, it's five people that needed to hear what I had to say or show them. Um,
Hmm.
there's no rule book on how to live life, but the thing is, you have to wake up every day and dig inside of yourself and figure out how you're going to contribute to life or contribute to your life or make your life better, um, without down dogging anyone else or being negative Nancy to anyone else. And those days aren't always easy. Some of those days are extremely hard. Um,
Hmm.
so I would just say try to stay as positive as you can. Feed yourself daily positive affirmations. It's okay to have a bad day, but just because you're having a bad day doesn't mean you have to be a bad person to other people.
That's true.
Um, so those are things that I encourage people to do.
Hmm.
So
So, how do you forgive yourself when you get into a spiral that you don't do what you need to do? Because forgiveness is a big part of it too, that you let yourself get so far off track that you know how to pull yourself back, and then you start beating yourself up and think you can't recover and start back over again.
you can though. I've been on this journey, like I said, since 2018 for weight loss and health and fitness. Um, and I decided in my 50s that I would just go in full throttle. And that's pretty much because I was pushed outside of my comfort zone. Everybody, like even the trainer that I was training with, was like, there's nothing else I can offer you. And then I would have a lot of women that would inbox me and ask me questions on how I got to where I'm at and, could I help them? And I never saw myself here. Even when I started or thought that about weight loss surgery, and just getting healthy and fit, I never thought that this was where I would be. I have a CDL license. I was driving forever. I came from corporate and now I'm in a whole different walk of life and I'm not young. So I pride myself on being an older lady who is out here in the fitness industry wreaking havoc on these young chicks because I love the gym. What I realized is that I unleash at the gym. The gym was something that I never knew I needed, but needed all the less. So
Right.
I find solace in being in the gym. I love boxing. I love driven accountability. So I love driving women out of their comfort zones because I love how they feel when they leave the gym. I love that when my clients call me, they're like, girl, when I leave you, I be feeling good. I love the fact that they fall out on the floor because that's the truth, because you put in work.
Right.
Nobody's paying you to sit there and do that, but it pays off in results. That's nothing somebody can give you. It's a gift to yourself. So if you ever had to bet on yourself, I would suggest that you do that.
Okay. So, you offer what type of services?
So for me, I do virtual and online personal training. It's still everything for me is one-on-one. And the reason I do a lot of one-on-one is because that's what worked best for me. Um, Group trainings are fine as long as the person coming into group trainings are pretty much comfortable with where they're at. They know their limitations because you can't really focus on an individual per se in group training. So a lot of times personal training, especially for beginners, is really powerful because that trainer with that knowledge gets to hone in on the things that you need to make your life better and get the results and the goals that you're looking for. Um, I tend to do a lot of resistance bands, strength training, um, heavy lifting, and I'm in my 50s. So I'm not a young fitness trainer. You know, I have grandkids. So I offer anything that someone needs in reference to health and fitness, especially if it's consistent of nutrition and working out. Those are things that I'm really good at. I have become really good at that because I put so much into myself that I knew exactly what I needed to do with a trainer or without a trainer. But the thing is, with a trainer, I'm being pushed. So I can't give up on myself. Plus, I always felt like once I paid my trainer my money, I'm going to show up where my money is sitting.
Right.
Um, and I invested a lot into my fitness and it paid off. And it paid off so well that I decided that I would give back. So I always encourage men, women, young, old, it makes no difference to just start. If you start, then you'll start to see the difference and the changes and things like that. But you'll never know what that looks like if you're too afraid to just start. Even if it's something where you hit me up and you're like, well, can I do online? Well, honestly, carrying your own body weight and doing exercises that only consist of your body weight is how I got through COVID. I was doing a quarantine and hit class and it kept me busy. So even when I'm training my online clients, I make sure that at the end of our training sessions that they put the camera on themselves so I can make sure that I got the results that I'm looking for, which is
Right.
them being soaking wet. So my training sessions are normally 40 minutes, one-on-one, or I've done personal training sessions with like a mother and a daughter. So sometimes I do the duos, which is pretty fun because then you get to see like what your partner is made of. So I love doing mother and daughters because they tend to get that interaction with one another and then they get to work out together and they encourage each other. So, things like that, those things make what I do so much easier when
Okay.
I know that my client really wants it.
Okay.
Um, I tend not to try to let people lay down too long. So like even if they leave and they can't work out maybe for a couple days or something, they're still hearing from me. I'm still reaching out to them, trying to see what's holding you back, what's not pushing you to go forward. Because sometimes when you love what you do, it's not all about the money. You really want to help encourage people. Like I love the results that I found in myself, but I actually pushed myself and all I did was hired a personal trainer and stayed committed to me.
So, what is the one thing in your journey that you can take away from that said actually put you in the mindset to do the things that you needed to do?
One of the biggest questions I always ask myself is why it took so long. So when you
Mm,
said that, it was one of the things that it resonated with me because I'm like, what took you so long? So the only regret I have is not starting sooner. Um, but everything happens in God's time.
mm-hmm.
Um, so I have no regrets. I want to be encouraging and I
Mm-hmm.
want to draw people in. Um, Sometimes I think I'm a bit much for people because they may look at it and be like, I don't know if I can deal with that. But you don't want a soft trainer. You want somebody who's going to encourage you, push you, and motivate you. I can't allow people to just come and tell me, well, I don't feel like doing this today because I'm just tired. Well, I'm tired too, and I'm here. And then don't think because I'm in the gym all day that that's what makes the world difference. It's still a job for me and I get tired, but I show up because I love what I do and I love the results that I know people can obtain if they just stick to a goal. So if they want to get into the fitness training, I mean, it doesn't even have to be with me. You can start with anyone, but just start. Even if you just get a membership and walk the treadmill, but not exercising and, letting your body fall victim to what it is society tells you, it won't pay off in the long run. And I think when, people start to think about retirement, you have to look at it as they'll work you until you're pretty much worked up. And
Mhm.
then by the time they give you retirement age, you're all burnt out. But you haven't done anything during the course of that time to keep yourself healthy so you can at least live another 15 years to enjoy your retirement or go on with your life afterward. For me, I like being able to run up and down the stairs and chase my grandkids. I like being able to run up and down the stairs. I like
Right.
being able to move and my bones creak and crack every day. But unless it bend or break and I can't move, I'm going to be in motion.
Okay. Well, what is one thing you can tell somebody to get their mindset and ready for motivation to make that next step?
They have to know that there needs to be a change within themselves. And once you realize that there are things about you that you need to improve, change, work on, enhance, or anything, start to research where that lies and head in that direction. Um, a lot of things can be from common sense and wisdom, and
Hmm.
that's when you reach out to people. So if you're not, you know, informed in reference to certain things, I know the internet is a big place to find a lot of stuff. And not
Hmm.
everything you find on the web is going to be correct. But there are people who still put their nose inside of books and educate themselves in reference to crafts and things that they find important to them. I found that in health and fitness, which is something that 7 years ago I wanted to do, but I was not this strong minded in reference to it. But like with anything, interview yourself, prep yourself for the interview, and get out there and get the job and then get it done. What you got to do.
So, in all of this, what is your biggest learnings about yourself?
Um, that I am stronger than I was giving myself credit for. Being afraid may have been holding me back. Um, but it never stopped me from trying. So I always tried. There were things in life that might have knocked me down and made me stumble. But what I realized is life is going to strike you no matter what. And it's up to you what it is that you'll allow to knock you down and keep you down. My fitness is no longer something that's open for discussion or something that's to be put on the back burner. I've come too far. I've worked way too hard. Um, what you see in the videos that you see, that's hard work. That has nothing to do with weight loss surgery. That has a lot to do with my mental mindset and just telling myself, keep going. And every day is a struggle, trust me. It's freezing cold outside. These kids don't have school tomorrow. I was walking to school in -9-degree weather. So I tend to think that our age groups, we're a lot stronger minded. And I think I encourage people to continue to try to raise their children that way because if you don't, they're going to have the wrong perception of what life should really be like. Like
Hmm.
everything they see is pretty much behind a computer screen. And that's
Hmm.
really not how, life was being operated prior to. Um,
Hmm.
it's a lot. This life could go on forever for a whole lot of different reasons,
Yeah, I know.
especially when you get into health and fitness because health can be a part of mental.
Hmm.
So it's a mental mindset. It's not just something that you change in the physical overall, what you
Mhm.
see. You have to strengthen your mind and condition your mind to keep doing this. And then you have to be prepared for whatever comes behind it. But being
Mhm.
confident in who you are and the path that you chose, I think that is more beneficial than anything in the world. So I don't let anything discourage me from going to the gym. I don't too much care what it looks like because I know what I've come from and I
Mhm.
know how I got there and I know what I'm working toward. And those things are important to me. So I encourage other people to do the same. And if they need me, I'm here to push.
Okay, so how can they find you? How can they contact you if they want to set up virtual appointments or in-person appointments?
So they can go on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, any of those. COA Fitness Training is accessible. I have my own website, coafitnesstraining.com. Um, any of my websites will give you direct access to me. My phone number is always on there. Um, you can text me, inbox me, message me. I'm always accessible where there is things that has to do with fitness and health. Um, I will do the best that I can. I tend to hold conversations with people for hours sometimes because my journey inspires them.
Mhm.
I've had people break down and start crying because, they're going through things in life and they feel that, fitness is a way out. Like they need to get in the gym so they can release tension and, things that they're dealing with in life. And I'm here for all those type of needs. Plus, I like to make revenge bodies for women who, are going through things and they want to pop out. Be
Mhm.
confident and be healthy.
Okay. All right, y'all. Y'all heard it from the fitness coach, COA fitness training. She was in the room this evening, even with all the technical difficulties we had today. But God is still good and
Yes, he is.
beautiful. And I hope and I pray that this conversation will make a world of difference in somebody's life. We're at the beginning of the year. It's never too late to start. It's never too late to start. Today is still the best day to get done what you got to get done. And Caroline, I'm proud of you, girl.
Thank you. Well, you've been
I'm,
with me a long time.
yes, honey. And I'm glad you finally made the decision to do what I've been saying for a long time. But
A
it had
lot
to
of
be your
people.
choice. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was a lot of people, but not so I think I've been at this since the end of September. Um, and I'm in my happy place.
See?
Like I was waiting to see if there would come a time when I would wake up and I would just be like, "Oh, I don't feel like going." I don't. If people book appointments, then what I'm trying to figure out is which shoes Imma wear because what workouts are we gonna do? Are we
Right.
lifting heavy? Can I wear my bubble shoes because we're running and it's
Right.
lighter? If we upper body, lower body. So there are a lot of fun things that fitness can bring, especially when you have a bomb coach like me.
I know that's right, girl. I know
I
that's
bring
right.
all the energy. If you show up negative, Nancy, we about to turn Nancy into happy Helen because it's got to go down. And I have bad days some days. If you ask any of my clients, they probably they've never seen it. They wouldn't
Mhm.
know.
Right.
Um, because I'm gonna always bring the energy to uplift people to keep going. You can
Oh,
take whatever negative thing is going on with you, and we can drop 5 pounds additional weight on it, and you can leave it on the floor.
all right. Well, look, y'all. Cause I know she got an appointment coming up sometime
I
soon
do, I
today.
do.
And I just want y'all to know,
It's my virtual training client tonight.
I hope that y'all have enjoyed this live, and I hope it pricked your thought process to do what you need to do for you. And maybe one day she'll come back and bring a client with a good old testimony of how a mindset has changed. This is just the beginning of highlighting women in business again for 2025. We're on a mission to lift women up, not drag them down. That's our purpose and our goal. We want to spotlight these ladies that's doing great things in the city, in the state, and in the world, leaving an impact and leaving that imprint on life. So it's a
Amen.
beautiful thing. Share this with other women, somebody you may be discouraged and need that little oomph to get them going. And if that's what it takes, sometimes people won't talk, but they will listen. They definitely will
They
listen.
will.
And she said, "Thank you, Caroline."
Oh, you are most
Nikki,
welcome.
Nikki said, "Thank you, Nikki Williams."
Yep.
And Alex Yates said, "Good job, good job." All
Well,
right,
we're
y'all.
trying to
Now,
make
thank you.
sure we find healthier alternatives, to unhealthy behaviors.
Exactly.
It's
All
you
right,
can
y'all.
definitely learn to undo unhealthy behaviors. And if you need some help, I'm here for you. If not, find the help in your area, somebody that you trust, and make sure you're getting the right guidance and the proper information is all I would suggest.
Yeah, and I want to say this: it's just like finding a good doctor. Your feelings of your person, you got to vibe with that person. If you don't vibe with your fitness trainer, you don't vibe with your doctor, whether it's a dentist or a vision doctor, it's not going to be a good fit. So if you don't feel that fit with that person, then find you somebody that you feel the fit with. All right. Make sure y'all check out cofitness.com, COA fitness.com, right here on this screen. And then y'all know what? Go ahead on to a woman's heart and check it out. I'm in about motivation, inspiration, encouragement, and empowering women. That's my thing, right? And so, we're going to leave our mark on this world. And I appreciate you, girl. I love you too.
I love you too. And thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. All right, y'all. Y'all going on with the rest of y'all evening and all that good stuff. We're going to sign off for this thing since we finally got it together. And y'all enjoy it. Make sure y'all share this live with somebody who may need it. Talk to y'all later. Have a good one.
Good night, guys.
Good night. All right, we out of here. So hopefully you enjoyed it.
I did. That was fun.
Yeah, that was a good thing. That was a very good thing.
How many
Yeah.
people we have on there? I couldn't see. I
Uh
can't see
I don't
nothing.
know how many people we had on here, but shoot.